The moving platforms that we've just created can be improved upon to make them more useful in our levels. This blueprint that we've set up, whilst it has a customizable start and end position, doesn't have any way other than opening up the blueprint, going into the interp movement component and altering the duration to change how quickly these platforms move. Currently this duration is shared by all of these platforms. When I press play, they all move at roughly the same duration, so it'll take them the same amount of time to move from point A to point B. If I change this to say 1 second, all of those platforms will now move much faster. It would be nice if we were able to control the velocity of each of these platforms individually, and we can do that by parameterizing this control value, this duration, and using our own variable to control that. I'm going to start by clicking to create a new variable. I'm going to call this new duration. This is going to be a float, and because we want it to be editable for each instance of this platform, I'm going to click the little I here to expose this as a public variable, which checks this box up here, instance editable. They do the same thing. Now we have a new variable. We'll need to compile the blueprint before we can change the default value here. You definitely don't want to leave this as 0, because a moving platform with a duration of 0 really does bug out. I'm going to set this to something like 3 as a good default value to work with. Now we just need to use this duration, this new duration value, to set the control duration. The control duration here is part of the interp2 movement component. We already have a reference on our blueprint to that component here, so we can reuse it. Click and drag from the interp2 movement component and search for that duration value here, duration. And you can see that we have the options here to get or set that duration. I want to set it. We're going to set a new value. I'm just going to put this at the end of our blueprint, remembering that we follow along the white executionable line as the program runs. So if I hook this into the set node, we'll now be setting this duration. And if I take the new duration value that we just created, I can either click and drag it into the blueprint, choose get, and then plug it in, or it's faster to just take the new duration, click, drag, and drop it exactly to where I want to connect it, and it will hook that up for me automatically. Now we can test that. I compile the blueprint and save it, and when I come back to the level, choose one of these objects. In the details panel here, the new duration value is visible. So this platform I would like to move quite quickly, so I'm going to set its duration to 1. The platform off to the side here, I'm going to set that duration to 10. Let's have that move very quickly. And this one in the background, let's have that move somewhere in between at 5. Now when we press play, each of these platforms is clearly moving at a different speed. We have an extra layer of control over the platforms.